Hey folks, welcome to Vandenbrick City. A stunning new addition. This is the City Mill, a rather large windmill which I've just placed today in this section. I believe it fits really well and makes the city unmistakably Dutch. So that's new. I've also been adding a lot of foliage and plant life around various parts of the city. This canal house is a new addition as well. It's huge and I think it's outstanding, looks beautiful, and I'll go into more detail later on. First though, I want to share some pretty meaningful milestones for me personally. In June I surpassed 500,000 views, which I am astonished by. Thank you to everyone who has taken an interest in my channel. The other big milestone is 2,500 subscribers. I have to constantly remind myself that this is a big deal because I still feel like a tiny channel. In reality, I am a tiny channel in the grand scheme of YouTube. But when I look back to when I started 5 years ago, I was watching other LEGO YouTubers, many of whom were like 2,000 to 3,000 subs, and they seemed like big channels to me then. In my mind, I sort of thought, you haven't really made it until you are around, say, 2,500 subs and over 300 videos. Well, in my case it took a lot longer for me as I decided to take a year out in 2023, but I feel like I'm on the right track, although now I look at channels over 6,000 to 7,000 or 12,000 and I aspire to that level of growth, so it never stops. Thank you so much to everyone who supports the channel and likes the city particularly. It means so much and I'm glad I'm able to share this fantastic creative hobby with so many. Anyways, the windmill is a substantial building and I was worried about where it would go, especially as I really want to be able to see it. And I don't want it to be in the back area where all the skyscrapers are because that wouldn't really make sense. So I have removed the funeral home, which was an adapted version of the Parisian restaurant. I love that building. The hearse I made based on Ecto 1 was cool too, but the problem is, and someone did highlight this to me, it's really not very Dutch looking at all, like not even close. And I agree with that, so I will be keeping it built, but it can go somewhere else in the house. Therefore, I have a base plate size space for the windmill. And you know, since I've built it and put it in here, I just can't stop looking at it. I've sat here for ages just admiring it. What a weirdo. Now, I will be doing a review of the windmill because this is a set and ooh, controversially, it's not a LEGO set. In my quest to be unique and different, I have decided to include other non-LEGO sets. This is my first one by Blue Bricks, the German competitor to LEGO. I've bought vehicles but never a big modular building. Funny enough, they started their business 5 years ago, right around the time I started YouTube. And they've become massive in Germany. Like I said, I will be doing a full review as this set deserves some attention. It does have issues, it has a few mechanical problems, but the interior is incredible though, with a fully working set of milestones, a flower bag, sort of carrying mechanism and all this other stuff. I do plan on modifying it as well. I hate visible studs, so I'll be tiling a lot of it and creating a new base for it, so not too much tinkering, but it will definitely be different to the way it looks now. I've said before, I don't want to have just off-the-shelf sets in the city. I certainly wouldn't have standard LEGO modulars. They have to be mocks or modified ones, so the same with this, although it is pretty much perfect in its appearance. It's just covering the studs on the base that really bothers me at the moment. Now, plants. I have these corners in this area of the city which are sort of wasted space and too small to fit a building. I really think we need some proper nature in the city. So I've been adding layers and layers of foliage and building it up and adding small trees. This is the final version. I've populated it with a few sparsely placed flowers as well. Hey, it's nothing revolutionary, nothing no one has done before, but I have thought about the composition with offset heights. I'm desperately seeking realism in my city, so I'm trying to give it that sense of density you often see with trackside plant life near railways. I've lined the long straight track that runs along the small canal with foliage as well. And visually, this change to me is really making me happy. I'm so glad to actually get this looking finished. And if I come down here, yeah, this view I think is really nice. I think it's something overlooked by a lot of LEGO city builders. It's great to have scenes with minifigures and vehicles, but sometimes little spots of uninterrupted colour and plant life can add a great sense of realism. Although I probably will add maybe one animal like a deer or something. Something that has stuck with me at a recent show I did, a lovely Dutch lady pointed out to me that too many of the buildings are not quite Dutch enough looking. And I wasn't that bothered, but looking at it now, yeah, you know, she's right. And the music shop for sure, the rooftop, it just isn't good enough. I have tweaked it a bit more. I've added this corner window section, but it still isn't finished. I'm waiting on parts, so I will add another bit on top, but it's getting there. I really like having this as a narrow corner build, but yeah, it does need some more work done to it, so watch this space. My diamond store, which is actually an extended version of the flower shop part from Assembly Square, same problem, the roof, it's not Dutch at all. I do like the black digger scoops that LEGO used, so I wanted to keep them, but I've added a curved ornate rooftop which features diamonds on it. I hope it looks more Dutch looking now. I think it does. I like it. I like sand green. So yeah, I think it looks better now. The other problematic ones, the teal apartment and Sanctum Sanctorum. The apartment is a modified version of the bookstore modular, the house that came with it. I added a custom floor and changed the rooftop, but yeah, it's not Dutch at all. So now I've added an extra floor, well, an attic with attic windows. I wanted to keep the rest of the building looking the same as I love it, and it still has a European feel. I'm really happy with this new rooftop, it looks way more Dutch looking. Now Sanctum, I made it into a library or a bookshop and I made a totally different rooftop, but yeah, I agree with her, it doesn't fit. The rest of the building is fine, but the roof needs a lot of work. So remember how this looks, because it won't look like this for very long. I am going to do an entirely new roof for the Sanctum Sanctorum and have it ready for you in the next city update. Now, the new Canal house. And this is also a set from Blue Bricks. It's about to retire. They did a range of Dutch facade buildings, which, God, if I'd only known then, I would have bought them all ages ago. I didn't even know they existed until very, very recently. In the city, I have this weird corner which I was going to make into an underground car park for a police station, but again, I've changed my mind. And that's because the Canal house is perfect for this area. It's only like 8 studs wide, so it's going to finish this off nicely without taking up so much space. I love the red masonry bricks. The round windows are great. The winch on top too, but the layered windows really complete the look. It's so nice looking. This design is really, really good. The designers really knocked it out of the park with, for such a shallow depth, the details are next level. I will be doing a review of this set soon, so I'll cover all that. But yeah, it's just so good. I was going to build something similar myself from scratch, but my skyscrapers are actually taking up way more time, and I saw this when looking for the Windmill set and I just fell in love with it. I will be adding some water and more street scenes at the front. As you can see from behind, it's quite odd looking, just an exposed back. But I will have a skyscraper right next to this, so it won't look weird, and this view right here is something that will never really be seen on display because this is going to be at the back. And as you can see, there's plenty of space left for my skyscrapers, and very soon I will have the first one complete, and I'm hoping it will transform this area of the city entirely. One of the aims of the city was to have kind of like a long street. I've always wanted to create a long view with an unmistakable Dutch look to it, which would look great in photos. So Shell, of course, is Dutch. There are these soon-to-be very Dutch-looking buildings down the sides, but of course dominated by the Windmill and an uber Dutch-looking canal house right at the back. And then there's also the milk advertisement board, and the KLM one will be there as well. The flag on top of the embassy. So I'm hoping when I take it to displays, there's no question, people look at it and go, oh, that's a cool looking Dutch city. It's not like Venice, it's not some other random place, it's definitely a Dutch city. What do you think? Does it all work? Especially having a windmill in the city like this? For sure, they are usually in the countryside, but I have done a bit of research and they definitely existed, and some still exist in cities where they were used a lot for pumping water from dikes and canals. And of course, city mills provided flour centrally to markets and bakers, and I have a baker on the street opposite, so that makes sense. And hey, Moulin Rouge was in the middle of Montmartre in Paris, so that was a windmill in a city. I'll be honest, I have struggled to film this today. Got the curtains closed now because it's insanely bright out there. 24 degrees for Scotland, which feels like 50, and it's super bright. So now it's maybe a bit too dark, but I just want to show you like an overview of how it looks now. Oh, and the pizza restaurant roof will also need to be amended soon, hopefully next week. But essentially this area is finished. The bank corner building looks great. The railway station and the platform looks so nice next to the small canal and the foliage. I am starting to work on a building to fill the gap where the red light district is, and of course a new very big modern black skyscraper will be going around here very soon. The light isn't great, sorry, but this is a nice front view. Lego city building is all about this, just, sitting and enjoying what you've made. I'm loving the density, the layers, the rows of buildings. I think the windmill really completes the look. The open city square is perfect for having the windmill in the back there, so it has an unobstructed view. A lot still to do though. It is all go. I've got a bit more time because it's summer holidays now, so I do have a few days of solid building time ahead, and hopefully get a load more done next time to show you. I hope you're enjoying the progress, and look out for my reviews of the blue brick sets. A lot to cover there, but thanks so much for spending time with me and the city, and I'll catch you next time.